I want to begin by asking you about your old colleague, Joe Biden. I don't think he's going to stay in. If he does stay in, he's going to lose. If he does stay in and he wins, it would be the greatest political upset in history. Do you think he's going to stay in?
I'm now coming around to the idea that he won't. I've gone back and forth on it a little bit, but I think they may have made a mistake in putting him out so much. I know why they did it, but all it's done is confirm the impression. I think if they had hidden him more, he'd be in better shape now.
But he's not. I mean, that NAACP speech was a disaster. The Lester Holt interview was a disaster. And the film of him yesterday going up and down Air Force One and struggling to even get into the car, he is infirm, Jim. I don't, it's not, it will not be palatable to the American people to put him back for four more
There's,
years.
there's, there's no question that he's infirm. You and I have been saying that for 2 years. The issue that none of us know is how personally committed he is to staying. And I made that point from the beginning that he doesn't think he's incapable of doing this job, and he doesn't think he's incapable of running a presidential candidacy. So I think now he's probably going to have to go, but I would not be shocked if this is still going on a week from now, and if I
Well,
don't feel a little bit different.
now that brings me to the convention. They are wisely
Yeah.
not setting this up about Joe Biden. They're setting it up about the Democrats. What did you make of J.D. Vance's speech last night?
I liked it. And I listened to what your interview with Noah this morning, and it's very interesting. I think Noah's got a point, but I don't think it's the one he thinks he has. Okay, so Vance needed to introduce himself, which he did. He did a great job talking about his backstory. He needed to reach out to disaffected workers in the Rust Belt, which is clearly why he's on the ticket. You're right about that. He needed to do a shout out to veterans. He did that. He was relaxed. He was comfortable. He showcased his family, which is a plus. All that's really good. And I disagree with Noah. I don't think that what we need is a Reaganism, and I'm with the Reagan Institute, but I mean, I don't think he needed to give the kind of speech Reagan would have given. Now, my concern is exactly what you just mentioned, that we remember who we're running against. We're not running against the last 25 years. We're running against the last 4 years. And I would have liked to see you a little bit more about how good things were under Donald Trump with some specifics, like how much real wages went up, okay? How bad things are under Biden with some specifics, like what a carton of milk costs now compared to 4 years ago. It wasn't a, I read the speech this morning in addition to listening to it to confirm my impression. And I think they'll do more of that in the future. I hope the president does more of that tonight.
Now, Jim Talent, this is not about Noah, but it's generally about Beltway punditry, of which I am a member, so I'm self indicting. Everybody has sunk costs, right? And the never Trump people, I don't think Noah was a never Trumper, but the never Trump people have the most sunk costs. They can't let it go, and they've got to let it go for the good of the country. Do you think they will?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think if we and by the way, I love Noah. I was just using that as a jumping off point to make a point about the speech. Yeah, I mean, but again, the unifying thing here, the unifying message is things are really bad now because of Joe Biden's policies, which is completely true. Things were very good under Donald Trump because of Donald Trump's policies, which is also true. And that's what I think the core message and the unifying message is. Now, he did it. His line about energy policy was really good. He
Yep.
talked about inflation. It was a good speech. I'm just saying, okay, if he called me up and I was his best friend, I would say it was a really good speech. Give yourself a gold star. In future, get into a little more detail about why Americans are suffering now. Oh, and by the way, I think he makes a very good point that look, yes, we are all responsible for the choices that we make, but the people at the commanding heights of the political system have done things that have made it harder for people to make the good choices. That's the point Vance was making last night, and he's right. So I think in future, he just needs to draw out some of these points more, and I'm going to watch to see what Trump does. I think it's been a great convention. I like the messages of unity and strength. and I'm confident. I just we all I'm pleased about Vance being on the ticket. Like I said, good brains, backstory, veteran status, and the right person to reach out to these key voters in the Rust Belt states.
Yeah, and Jim, I don't know that anyone remembers RN in 52, but all of our candidates until Donald Trump came from nothing. Dwight Eisenhower came from nothing. Nixon came from nothing. Reagan came from nothing. And this is W did come from, the Bushes are the Connecticut Bushes, so they're American royalty. But I like it that we've nominated a hard scrabble backstory. I think it resonates with a lot of Americans who want more for their.
It absolutely does. And particularly, there are so many people who come from damaged backgrounds. And one of the reasons their backgrounds are damaged is because of the policies that the left has been pushing.